Well, it was must-see TV last night. Bret Baier pressed Vice President Kamala Harris on everything from the border to the economy to Joe's mental fitness during her first formal sit-down interview with Fox News as vice president.
And with less than 3 weeks to the election day, the Democratic nominee trying to make the case that she offers a new way forward despite being in power the last 3.5 years.
If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Come on.
So it was a tense interview at times as Harris tried to dodge some questions and point the blame toward Donald Trump. Toward the end of the interview, though, Bret says it had to quickly be wrapped up after her team signaled to him to stop.
There are critics who look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say.
Madam Vice President, and they're giving me a hard rap here.
Well, I thank you for the time.
Okay. Prior to that moment, Harris faced several tough, direct questions like how her presidency would differ from the current Biden-Harris administration.
So, you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C.
Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years, so what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we have been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people
that is
tell
about
pollsters,
turning the page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Bret.
You've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade, people have become, but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president, one, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous.
So when we had Bret Baier on yesterday to preview the big conversation with Kamala Harris, one of the things I noted is that what Bret Baier is really good when it comes down to the research. And we saw that yesterday because it was question after question based on her record and prior statements. And I got to be honest, she didn't meet the moment in the sense of having a response to those questions, but I think it was a better format for Kamala Harris versus some of the softball interviews that she's gotten. At least she rose to the occasion in the sense of wanting to fight back. And so if you're on the left, maybe you applaud her. But if you're someone that's been waiting for the big interview, then you thank Bret Baier for asking those tough questions.
I was glad he pressed her on, you've been the one that's been in office for 3.5 years. And then it was almost that moment where she said, but I haven't been to Europe either. When she said, but Donald Trump was running. He said, but you're the one in office. You're the one that we're turning to for change. You want to turn the page. But this is what you've stood for. He said in 2019, when you ran for president, you wanted to allow immigrants to apply for driver's licenses, free tuition, free health care. Do you still support that? Kamala said, that was 5 years ago. I will follow the laws. And then Bret said, but you chose Tim Walz as your running mate. And he signed all of this into state law. So do you support this? She hesitated and she said, we are clear. We will support federal law.
Right. And, you know,
which means nothing.
Right.
Yesterday when Bret was on with us, as you alluded to, Lawrence,
Changed the law.
we talked a little bit about how she is a known filibusterer.
Yes.
And we saw it.
And as soon as he asked the first question, and she went into an answer that we've heard a million times, it was like she was reading a teleprompter. About 20 seconds in, he tried to refocus her on the actual question. And it was back and forth the whole time. I'll tell you this. If you and your family set this up as a drinking game before it started, and you said, okay, every time she says Donald Trump, I'm going to take a shot, you would have been so
Smashed.
Yeah,
Smashed.
That's a good word. I would say 10 minutes in, because every time the going got tough, she went to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think the campaign said, we want to be able to say we've done a tough interview. Okay, they checked that box. They also say, Tim Walz has done a couple of interviews on Fox News Sunday back to back. The campaign, Brian Fallon put out a statement and he said that they reached an audience last night that do not hear a lot directly from her, and she showed her toughness. So I think they think it was a win.
But the question that really I think is going to be played everywhere was when Bret Baier asked a direct question, when did you know about the diminished faculties of the current president of the United States?
And she turned to Donald Trump.
And she went to Donald Trump, and there was a huge pause there, as if she was not expecting that question.
Yeah.
But the answer was not sufficient enough, especially when what we witnessed, Ainsley, on the debate stage.
Right. Well, and I was watching Brett last night on Sean's show, and Sean was saying, you were supposed to do this interview at 5. He said she didn't walk out until 5:17. She knew he had a live show at 6 o'clock.
Right.
She knew that he had to turn this. We had to get it into the tape room so that we could push play on that at 6 o'clock. She knew how stressful that would be for the staff, the team, and she knew she could eat into some of her time that she had promised Bret Baier. Bret said we were supposed to have 25 minutes, and she only gave us 20 minutes. And he said, I don't like interrupting, but I had to interrupt a lot because she was filibustering. She just kept talking and talking about things I wasn't necessarily asking her about. He said, so I had to interrupt. But he said, if I hadn't interrupted, we would have probably gotten 4 questions in,
That's
5
right.
minutes per question. He said, so I had 75 questions prepared.
Right. He was very well prepared, and he asked a lot of questions throughout the 26 minutes. One of the ways that Donald Trump has really made some hay in the last couple of weeks is with an ad talking about how she supports surgery for prisoners, gender-changing surgery. And he asked her about that. And once again, she started an answer, and then she mentioned Donald Trump. Watch.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy, and no gender transition surgeries
you know what? You got to
happened
take
during
responsible for what
his
happened in your
presidency.
administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in this presidency.
It's in
so
black and white.
Would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment surgeries?
I will follow the law.
Obviously, she didn't
Follow the
answer, Ainsley, the yes or no question, which is, do you support taxpayer funds going to gender reassignment? But that, she always traps herself. That last line, you got to take responsibility for what happens in your administration. So the border, the 8-some million folks that have come across the border, the record inflation in this country, grocery prices going up, an economy that is not bouncing back. Maybe if you like the stock market, then you're happy with it. But if you're going to the grocery store, is she responsible since this is her administration?
Yeah, she keeps saying, I'll follow the law. I'll follow the law in the gender transitioning surgeries and prison. I'll follow the law when it comes to the border. Well, you have access to the law if you're the vice president. If you're running for president and you become president, you can change the laws.
Right.
There are executive orders, and they did away with most of Donald Donald Trump's executive orders when it came to immigration. And Bret knows the facts, and Bret really pressed her on this and said, what about immigration? How many have crossed the border under your administration? She couldn't answer that. She pivoted and changed the subject. But she mentioned the amnesty bill again. And Bret said that would have given 11 million illegals amnesty, a pathway to citizenship. Because when she's asked about immigration, oh, on day one, right after hours within us taking the oath, we tried to pass the U.S. Citizenship Act. And then that's when Bret said that would have allowed 11 million people to get citizenship. That's an amnesty bill. And then she started talking about the bipartisan border bill that Donald Trump blamed it on Donald Trump, that it never passed. And Bret said, but Democrats voted against it. And Democrats had problems with it. And that would have allowed 1.8 million illegals to be allowed in our country every year. That is not closing the border.
So the question is, after the 26-minute interview, how many people who were watching Fox or saw the clips would actually say, you know, I was undecided, I'm going to change my mind? We've talked a little bit about how there are so few. There's just a narrow little sliver of the electorate that is undecided. But what's interesting, Fox News came out with a brand new poll yesterday, and it had some good news for Donald Trump. He is now leading her by 2. She was ahead by 2 in the last poll. But what's interesting, in the Fox poll, it says that 10% of his supporters and 10%, about 10% of his supporters and about 10% of her supporters might change their mind. So ultimately, they took a high-risk gamble to come on Fox and get a great grilling by the great Bret Baier. Did she change any minds? It's interesting because earlier in the day, she appeared on stage there in Pennsylvania with a bunch of Republicans who said, OK, we're supporting her. One other fact from the Fox News poll is 20% of non-MAGA Republicans apparently are going to vote for her. The balance of them are going to vote for him.